Hello there, thanks for tuning in. This is Patti Behan, and today we're going to make this cute Father's Day card using Simon Hurley products and some Ranger embossing products, and I'm even going to show you how to watercolor on our silicone mat. So let's get started. To begin, we're going to make our background first, and I'm going to use a Wendy Vecchi white perfect cardstock panel, and I'm working on the silicone mat here. And the first thing I'm going to do is ink the stamp with our Emboss It clear embossing ink. So even though we're not going to use the whole stamp, I'm going to ink the whole stamp up anyway so that we don't miss any spots on our card. And then now I'm going to place it along this second row right here and kind of center it on the stamp. And then next I'm going to place a piece of scrap paper over top. And I'm using a medium brayer made by Ranger, so to make sure that I get an even coverage of ink. And then I'm going to lift it off. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but it came out pretty good. And I'm going to put the scrap paper down and use some clear embossing powder and then just pour that on top of the whole panel. Take off the excess. And if you miss a spot, go back on and put some more. And it's like this. Return the excess embossing powder back into the jar. And now we're going to melt the powder with the Ranger heated tool. And you'll know that it's melted when it's all shiny, and then you're going to let it cool before we start to do anything with it. And now we're going to ink the background. And I'm going to start first with the slippery when wet and use our ink blending tool with foam and get some ink onto the foam. Like so. And then you're going to start off of the edge of the card and work your way onto the card. And we're just going to go about maybe a third of the way down with this. Now you're going to switch your foams and then use the overzealous ink. And then we're just going to, again, start off the edge of the card and blend the ink right under the other ink that you already put there. And this is going on the bottom of my card, and I was just measuring to see if I needed more ink. So you don't have to go all the way down. And I'm going to go back in with the slippery when wet just to blend it a little more. And then we're going to put that aside till later. Now we're going to work on stamping the dad at the bottom of the card. This is cut to 5.5 by 1.5 inches. And I'm placing it on a piece of scrap paper, and I'm using the stamps from the Dudes 2 set. I'm using the word dude here, and what I did is, this is one single stamp, but I cut the letters separately. I do this with a lot of my clear stamps. This way you could use them in different ways. And so I took the first 3 letters and I used the U upside down. That's going to be my A. Make sure they're lined up, and I'm going to use some clear embossing ink to ink up the stamp. And then stamp it in the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and take our clear Emboss It pen, and I'm going to draw the line to make the U into an A, like so. And this time I'm going to emboss with white embossing powder. So you pour it over the top of that, shake off the excess, and then return it back into the jar. and then we're going to heat it till it melts. Once that's done, it looks like this, and then let it cool again. And then just to give it a little dimension and to make the letter stand out more, I'm going to ink up the panel with some slippery when wet ink, and just go ahead and ink the edges. And you can see the letters start to show up a little bit more. And then I'm taking the fine liner number 3 in black, and I'm just going to outline the letters, and this will make them pop even more. Okay, and then it looks like that. And now I think we can put that aside, and let's go on to the next thing. Okay, so next I'm going to color in these cute die cuts using Simon Hurley inks and a Tim Holtz detailer water brush. And these die cuts come in a package of 24. There's 12 different designs here, and there's 2 of each. We have some dudes and a little dog and some hats and a present. And so to begin, I'll be working on the silicone mat here and using the water brush filled with water. Make sure you have a piece of paper towel handy. And to start, I'm going to make a palette on the mat here. I'm going to take the bee sting ink, Remember Me, Overzealous, and I'm just wiping a little bit on the mat here. Next is Slippery When Wet. Woof is next, and then some Grr. Okay, and once we have that, we can start coloring. So I think I'm going to start with the tongues on the dude, and I'm going to use some bee sting and color that in. And same thing on the dog. And then I'm gonna wipe off my brush a little bit here. It helps if you want a darker color, if you brush off the water and you get a dry brush, you'll get a darker color to start with. So that's why I'm wiping that off. Okay, and next I think I'm gonna work on the hair of the dude. So I'm gonna take the Grr color and color that in. And you have to work in layers here, so you start out light and then you can always add to it. I'm going to use some more ink here. And just keep going back and forth until you get the color that you like. Okay, I think that's good. And I'm cleaning out my brush, squeezing the water out. And next, let's start with the shirt. And I'm going to use some Overzealous. Again, start light, build up on your color. Now some Remember Me for the pants. A little Grr for the shoes. And as it's drying, you'll notice where you might want to go back and fill in, and that's what I'm doing. And I think he's good. So that's what we have right there. Next, let's work on the dog. And let's see, I think I'm going to use the Woof, and I'm going to mix a little bit of the Grr in there just to get a different color. And I'm adding some water too as I go. Then we'll start with the little fur on top. And since this is our first layer, we're just going in. And then I'm adding some more Grr. Just doing a little shadowing and shading. And I think that looks good. And now we can set those aside. And this mat cleans up so easy. I'm just using a dry paper towel, and look at that, it gets all the ink off. So this is a really great thing. I love this mat for that. Okay, now let's stamp using the puppy puns, and I'm taking the stamp that says I rough you, and just we need a scrap piece of white cardstock, and we'll place that on the block and use Remember Me ink to ink the stamp, and then stamp it on like so, and then you're just going to cut it out. And I cut it close to the edge. I didn't leave really that much of a white border. Okay, and now it looks like that. Get that out of the way. And next, let's put all this together. So first I'm gonna put the background on the back of a Wendy Vecchi Perfect card. And I'm going to use some Letter It double stick tape. And you don't have to go crazy with the tape, you just need to put it like in the four corners, because this is very sticky and that'll work really well. Take off the backer and just put it on the card. Next, we're going to put the dad panel using the same double stick tape. Okay, oh, and I think I'm going to put the dog behind the panel. So let's see. Yes, I think that looks good. We're going to put the dog right there, and let's put some adhesive on the back of the dog. Same thing. Okay, I think that looks good right there. And then let's stick the dad on top over there. Put some more double stick tape on it. Put him down, and for this, I think we're going to move that over a little bit, and then I'm going to pop up that with some self-adhesive foam. Just need a little piece, and let me trim it to fit. Take off the backer and put it down, and there you have it. You have this cute card that's fun and vibrant to give to your dad on Father's Day, or even a birthday card for your dad. So if you'd like to give this project a try, you can find a supply list in the description box below. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click the subscribe button below as well. So thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.